phrase it. Initially, when Ocasio came onto the scene, Nancy Pelosi, kind of let her do her thing, let her spread her wings, let her become the butterfly that she is. But eventually, butterflies have a short life. So she flapped her wings and did her thing, but now she's kind of faded off into the sunset. It's my belief that class of leaders, when they came in, they were allowed to shine so that we could see who our future leaders are, and you can rest assured that within this next year or two, you'll see them step out. I'd say at least within the next 6 months to a year, you'll see them start to come out and show, and you'll see the older regime slowly but surely fade on into the sunset.
Not only that, let me give you a good example.
That's what I see.
Okay, in the state of Florida, we have the State Legislative Black Caucus.
Okay.
You take out their annual party for fundraising for education or whatever. I found out that as a group, they have short tentacles in the overall state of Florida black community when it comes down to blue-collar workers, low-income workers, and all. They have caught on that our black elected officials, the legislators, they're one-trick pony, I call them. They may be focused on one issue or maybe two at the most during the legislative session, but then outside of that, they kind of disappear. And so when you talk to even blue-collar young people, they have no idea who the State Legislative Black Caucus is. They really have no idea who the local black legislators are unless they happen to see them on a hot-button issue. Well, obviously, fair housing and low-income housing and workforce housing, that's an issue. So you got a couple of legislators on that. But when you look at other issues that affect, in a negative way, environmental concerns, the stripping of funds in public education, all that, you don't really see that. And so when I talk to them out on the street, I say, well, what do you expect out of your black elected officials? And especially on the state level. First thing they say, or congressional level, stop waiting till election time. And I had a young man tell me that he doesn't see his black elected officials until, like the white folks, they come in at the church house before election.
Right.
Now that is a poison. Now I'm a hood brother, and I'm conservative, but I'm very militant too. That is an issue for me that we keep passing on because they're black, but we need to call it out. It makes no difference if it's white or black. You come into my community only at church time for elections. Something wrong with that. And so the young people under 40, even some that are, like I say, very formal education-wise trained, they notice that. So they don't want to buy into joining up with them for anything.
Here's my thought. The people under 40 are busy trying to live. They are busy trying to find out where they are in life, who they are in life. They got little kids. They just living from day to day. So, it's like they say, it's the economy, stupid. And so the economy is a thing that's affecting most of their political thought process. And they're only going to come out and exercise their right to vote when it's time to vote. And so they're relying on leaders like you and me to give them what they need to absorb all that information. And so when it's time for them to come vote, they are relying on us to share the information, give them what they're looking for, and so they can make a rational and sound decision when it's time for them to exercise their right to vote. So I get it that they're not really involved like you think they should be, but they're just involved in their daily lives. I'm not giving them an excuse. Okay. I'm just saying that I can remember back when I was in my 30s and 40s that I had a lot of political leanings. So I'm a different kind of person.
Okay.
So it's guys like us who have that political wherewithal as we're growing up to bring our young brothers and sisters into the fold. Even if we're in the 30s and 40s, we rely on the people that have political leanings as we're growing up to give us the information. So
well, here's what I told some of them this
what'd
week.
you tell them?
I told them, look, man,
And what group was this you were speaking to?
I generally speak with a lot of young adults from 18 to 28.
Is this your church group?
Groups in the community because
Okay.
I ride the bus. I got my McDonald's coffee group. I stopped by because of my involvement. Even I run across them playing dominoes or whatever because people have this. They have this.
Peach,
thing.
you can't play dominoes.
Well, at least I
You
try.
you know a little something about bones.
Well, I slam a few. But anyway, I talked to them about stop waiting on us because one of the things I talk about is local zoning, school issues, water quality, sidewalks, and all like that. And I reminded a couple of people this week, within yourselves, come up with a plan, what it should be, what you would like it to be, and what you anticipate is going to be. And within our black community, you have a right to voice an opinion. For an example, if they come out in the black community and the NAACP or somebody says, well, hey, we're having this forum. Okay, you're going to get the usual suspects out. But then I told the guy, look, you bring your group to the table and say, hey, we reviewed these issues or whatever. We looked at this money issue. This is the way we think it ought to go. Because you would probably, see, they are of the opinion that every black person over 50 is stuck in one way of thinking. That's a dangerous thing. And then when you get over 60, it's like that. So we're going to be going to a break soon. But it's an issue with me because when you look at all over the country, everybody is trying to lead the black community among the progressives or whatever, and the people that make under $35,000 a year in our community, except the people that should lead it. And Stacey Abrams got a little bit of that, but then when you look, you got to balance this thing out. So Ocasio and Jamal Blackman and all those are extreme left.
I don't think we have a lot of people that are really focused on trying to lead the African American community. Quite frankly,
well, as a group,
as a group, I see the rise of the Hispanic voter is what I'm seeing. They've got, they're pretty entrenched, and so I don't really see. To me, there is a slow digression, a degression, if that's the word I'm looking for. We're going backwards in terms of leadership because the older leadership has yet to get out of the way. It's kind of like the law of diminishing returns. It's they've been holding on so long that the younger people are becoming to get disinterested in it. So if we're not careful, we could lose the hold that we got
they can change
on young leaders. Yeah, they could change it.
I mean, we can. Young people, Rick Ross, a lot of musicians.
They can't.
But they're not interested in that.
Well, because everybody's interested. Like I said, it's the economy is stupid.
Yeah.
They're just concerned about making money right now, just trying to survive. Even the Rick Rosses it doesn't matter how much you're making. The more you make, the more you spend. So everybody is focused on that, and they're not going to focus on the politics until it's time to focus on politics.
You a question. It's a trick question in a way. Why can't the Rick Rosses and the JDs and everybody else in that genre, they call it music genre and all, why can't they educate the young people within the rap, within the beats and all, and educate them on a history lesson and what they need to do to move forward?
You mean with their words?
With their words.
So you want them to be like the Curtis Mayfields
yeah.
and even the Temptations back in the day, because
absolutely.
we always say the Marvin Gayes of the world.
See, when you look
You don't see that coming, Pete. You don't. Pete,
I don't
you
see,
must not,
well, it depends on where you live.
you know what? No, you are not listening to the young music. And so, if you hear some of the, I didn't say some of the street hip hop. I mean the young music. I think there's a lot of young musicians that are coming up, especially in the R&B ranks. They call it neo soul and all of that. But that group, they are bringing a message, and we got a message that we need to bring, and that message is we are getting ready to go on break.
And when we come back, I want to talk about this hip thing called Young and Turn. Why can't we
Young and Turn? All right, we'll talk about Young and Turn
instead of a hookah lounge.
You're listening to Straight Up the Middle. You're watching Straight Up the Middle, and we'll be right back.
With Sweet Pea. Yeah, I'm telling you, I'll take off my glasses there.
Call Ricky. Ask Ricky. You need medical or a lawyer? I got the man to do the legwork for you. We tried the other ones before, so believe we hunted down 813-248-6300. Everything gon' be okay. Call Ricky, he coming. He taking care of state of Florida. Grab a pen of sundown 184-361-RICK. That's 184-361-425. Never word from the point forward, just recline. Just ask Ricky, push your boy straight wide. Just in case you missed it, I'ma tell you one more time. 184-361-RICK. Call Ricky, ask Ricky. It's a legal medical referral service. The doctors and lawyers in our network are trained in handling auto injury claims and getting you the best medical treatment and recovery. Dial 1-844-361-RICK. That's 1-844-361-7425. Ricky. Ask Ricky.
Hey, this is Agent Wright, better known as Mr. Clean. You looking for some great barbecue? Come see them two brothers in the grill, located at 423 Virginia Street, Charleston, West Virginia. We got ribs, chicken, pulled pork, brisket, collard greens, mac and cheese, baby. Come get some and get you a nice, smooth cigar. 304-550-4431. That is 304-550-4431. Come get some, baby. The Rib Man, mama, the Rib Man.
Tampa, get ready to experience a night of R&B hits after hits. It's the R&B Music Experience Keith Sweat Birthday Weekend Celebration, Saturday, July 23rd at the Amalie Arena, Tampa, Florida, with Keith Sweat. Keith Sweat. It's going to be an epic music experience with Monica, Tevin Campbell, Tamar Braxton, Genuine, 112, and Silk. It's the R&B Music Experience Keith Sweat Birthday Weekend Celebration, Saturday, July 23rd at Amalie Arena, Tampa, Florida, with Keith Sweat, Monica, Tevin Campbell, Tamar Braxton, Genuine, 112, and Silk. Tickets on sale at Ticketmaster.com, another global events production.
All right, everybody. Welcome to another edition of In Touch News Radio. Straight up the middle with Taylor Pete Evans. My sidekick, the lady himself, is Clint Parrish is out. But if you need him and you need other services and all you got to do is look at the In Touch newspaper and go to the website.
You know what I'd like to do, Pete, is I need some spies out there. See, we got to stop Attorney Clint Parrish from calling in sick. Because I think I'm going to demand him to bring a doctor's note or something like that. Because every time we really got something hot and heavy, Clint calls in sick. So, Clint, if you to all my listeners and viewers out there, if you see Clint running around, y'all give us a call, 813-444-9588. Call us and let us know. Get your camera out and take a picture of him because I don't think he's sick.
And he never bring back any of the spoils of wherever he's at.
He never does. He never does.
I don't know.
Wait, we're watching your Attorney Parrish.
And when we left, today we're talking about what's happening to the black community under 40, the disinterest from voting and all. And before we went to the commercial break, Darryl, I talked about
you had a T-shirt you had on.
I had a T-shirt.
Young and what?
Young and Turnt.
Young and Turnt.
Now on social media, Young and Turnt basically specifies that once they turn 18 and what have you like that. Once they.
Hey, Pete.
Yeah, that's the Reverend calling me. So he must have heard something on it.
Pete.
Reverend Cruz must have heard something on the radio that he didn't like for me to say. But I cut off. Well, when I look at the thing, the Young and Turnt, They had the dollar signs on it, the stacks,
Right.
and they had the tongue, and then they had the like a twerk symbol. And I
Okay.
was talking, why can't we use the same theme, young and turnt, to reflect on the new generation of course, Snick, take some teachings, because I think he died too early, Tupac and Nipsey Hussle,
Yeah.
and some of those guys, along with the Curtis Mayfields, that some of that music is coming back and make a difference. I'm just saying.
Nothing has changed. Just look at it like this: the Nipsey Hussles of the world. He had a very positive message that he was getting out. And Nipsey Hussle, do you remember how old Nipsey Hussle was? Was he in his mid-40s? Here we go. We got a call.
All right. Caller, come in, and what say you straight up the middle this morning?
Good morning, Mr. Edwards and Gerald. This is Carl.
Hey, Carl, how's it going, brother?
Yeah. I was talking about how the black community is not engaged in the political process.
Under 40, Carl.
Right, because they're not educated what how important, voting is to us. I mean, it's just that you got to remember the history about voting. That we was not we had to fight for our rights to vote, and then a lot of people lost their lives, so they start hearing these stories or whatever about. So a lot of people they're just not really it's not important to them because they don't know what it means to them.
All right, let's say, look, the Voting Rights Act have to be reauthorized every 10 years. So let's say, that's not a permanent thing, okay?
That's that's
okay.
insane.
So and that goes to show you why the Democrats have all three branches of government on, but you notice how that disappeared. So next year when it's time to reauthorize, and let's say the right-wing extremist part of our Republican Party come in and they decline not to authorize it, do you know that means that the states can say, hey, well, you don't have a right to vote? They may try to go back with poll taxes or whatever. And that's what I'm talking about. But if something is wrong that we can't generate and inspire among young people, even have them take the lead, that they can take the theme young and turn it into something that's meaningful with deep tentacles and grassroots to save our communities. And they're not doing that. And one of the things, Gerald, I meant to bring up to you, Carl, I want you to chime on this right quick, is that I think one of the biggest culprits of suffocating the future of our black community is the educated elite in the black community. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, and you're right. Because they look for your musicians and some of Hollywood, some of the actors and stuff to be, for their leaders or whatever. And some of them just don't. They just don't come up to the plate at that age. You got a lot of your white schools are teaching political science in classes. And, even in the 10th grade.
So, Carl, are you seeing? Do you have any connection with the younger people from a political perspective?
No, because they're not interested in hearing about political, about voting, about being political. Now, back in the day, you had Public Enemy, you had KRS, you had those guys come out and they were speaking about, so it's the mindset of the people.
Well, but you got
you
got to also realize, they killed Tupac, they killed Biggie, they killed Nipsey Hussle. Most people that's got a political message usually end up dying or being killed. Would you agree with that?
Definitely, yeah, you're right. But that I think.
My point is that I guess those that the powers that be have a tendency to drive home the message that if you come in here with some political will, we're going to probably cut you off at the ankle. So a lot of people kind of stray away from that. But I'm still telling you that we have musicians and artists out there that are unafraid to speak their message. And I do believe that the message is getting there. We just don't. And when I say we, I mean people over 50. We don't see it because we're not in the trenches with them, and we're not in their circles. I do believe that we have enough people out there that are listening. They may not be reacting, but they are listening. And when it's time to vote, you're going to be surprised at what the 2022 election turns out.
Here's
That's just my
Here's what I talk about, Carl, all the time, even with my coffee group friends and others on the street. First of all, if you're over 50 and you're out in a public setting and all, you need to stop trying to get up in a hurry away from younger people when they're sitting down to eat and all. How about just keep quiet? You may not like their lifestyle or whatever, but all that's changed. But just keep quiet, look, listen, and learn. And then if they see you again and all, then that gives you an opportunity where you can actually, you should have the courage to now say, hey, look, man, look here, young lady. How can I, as an older person, relate to you in your group? How can I relate to y'all what y'all going through economically? Or better yet, because in the black community, see, the turmoil that nobody's talking about is the social upheaving within the black community.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, as far as the gender identification, you're seeing a resurgence of mixed dating among young teenagers and young adults. Where you seeing, even in Tampa, you see an increase of black females with white males. So you got that. Then you have the part about the drug culture. For an example, you have, even though you can almost grow your own reefer in your backyard, nobody's gonna bother you, but you still got some of the young people still trying to sell marijuana, which is crazy. Because you follow me? Go ahead, Carl.
Okay, Mr. Edwards. Okay, I remember a show that you guys did that Ms. Robinson, your host,
Clint?
Robin.
Robin Lockett.
Yeah. Okay.
Right, and she says, well, some of the social support groups in there, a lot of the people don't even know about those. They don't know about those. They don't know about it because they don't get out and they don't reach out to the people and let them know that these things exist. So they can the social stuff that they can use for the community help stuff, or get them housing, the Fair Housing Act, for them to get but they know about the food stamps, but they don't know some of the they get pamphlets, they can get support for their newly mothers and newly parents.
Well, you got
house buyers.
You got people like Robin Lockett that are spreading the word through Florida Rising, the organization that is truly politically involved in pushing the Democratic agenda. But it's like I'm just focused on what it is I think the young people are doing, which is they're busy raising their families, and when it's time to vote, they're going to come out and vote.
Before we go to commercial break, I was thinking about, okay, locally, what would I do if I had a $500,000 grant? I would take the newspaper like In Touch.
Okay.
I would take social media like you have. I would take the guy that's on Instagram called Tampa Scope. A few of those organizations.
How old is that guy?
He might be in his 40s, but he caters to a younger crowd.
Right.
Okay, 18. And I would say, okay, because they don't want you to teach black history in school. Okay, because they don't want this. Okay, with the health. I'm going to give you a grant with a specific amount of subject matter, limited amount. And I want you to light up your social media platform, because they do have a platform. And this is what I think you should target, not so much as protecting the OG, but getting young people engaged and teaching them, and then let it spread out. And that way, those are natural incentives within our community. But what I find out a lot of times, as much as we try to work within our community with young people, we really don't offer them financial incentive to take the lead within their social network.
Okay.
So we're going to be taking a break, and when we come back, I want to hear from you, Mr. Darrell. You're a social media person. You're a producer, publisher, and everything. Your In Touch News reach a whole lot of. In fact, your newspaper is reaching more new African Americans under 40 coming in than any other black newspaper or whatever we got around here. So how do you find the connection that they can go in your newspaper and they see the old, the new, and the upcoming?
Okay, we'll talk
All
about
right,
it.
he's going to talk about it. And no donuts, but and Krispy Kreme had a sale on this week. How did we miss that?
Let's see.
All right.
We'll be right back.
All right, bye-bye. Oh, well, no, not bye-bye. We'll be right back.
By now, we're all aware of the dangers of COVID-19. Like others with existing health issues, cancer patients are at a high risk due to their compromised condition. If you are newly diagnosed with cancer, your care likely can't wait. Moffitt Cancer Center is the best place for your cancer concerns and to provide guidance to help you plan your next steps. We're here for you. Call 1-888-456-2839 or go to moffitt.org/hereforyou.
Who doesn't love being number one? When your team's dominating the standings, or your favorite band rocks the charts at number one, it feels good, right? Kind of like how it feels when you have auto insurance with State Farm. Because making you feel like number one is an honor your local State Farm agent takes seriously. Through the good times and not so good, your State Farm agent's proud to be here to help life go right.
Call Herman White at 961-6661. That's 961-6661.
You've been injured, you deserve help from an attorney that knows how to handle your injury claim. This is attorney Clinton Paris from the law office of Clinton Paris. For over a decade, I worked for insurance companies, and now I use that knowledge and experience to help people that have been injured. For a free consultation, call me, attorney Clinton Paris, at 813-413-7924. That's 813-413-7924, or at parislawoffice.com. At the law office of Clinton Paris, we take the pain out of being hurt. Offices, Riverview.
It's the last stop on the Love Track Tour with the mighty OJs. Friday, August 26th in the Strand Center with Gerald Austin and the Manhattans, plus Shirley Murdoch. For tickets, go online to strandcenter.org.
All right, everybody, we're back with another edition of In Touch Radio.
We're back.
The guy that has me on the show can always give me a check with zeros on it, but that's all good. That's a little humor on a Saturday there because
It's all good. Now, when you see that 1 and 2 in front of them zeros, you're gonna be like, oh man, you all right. You all
I
right.
just need 10% of that. Well, before we left it, he's going to talk about it. How do we engage? Your paper, for an example.
Well,
Kate, you see what I'm saying? You
right,
reach
right.
everybody, old and new.
Let me say it, but because when you start getting older, if you don't say things that's right at the tip of your tongue, you have
That's
a tendency
true.
to not remember. I don't
Yeah,
want to
'cause
say
you
the other
say-
word.
you'll
So
say
so
yes later, dear.
so let me give you the 4 examples. Like I said earlier, I said the old guard is slowly but surely letting you see who the young leaders are. Now let's take Call Ricky, Ask Ricky, for example. Call Ricky, Ask Ricky has been advertising with In Touch for years, and right next to him on his ad are his 2 sons.
Rico
Now,
and,
so these kids are in their 30s and late 20s, if I'm not mistaken. But these are the young leaders. This is what's happening in our community. It's subtle. You may not see it. Now right here on Fresh Fridays. That's
back.
my wife and I, Tampa Bay Tammy, and myself. And guess who's on there as well? Our daughter. Guess how old she is? Well, I'm not going to tell you, but she's in that group we were just talking about. And those are that's the subtle way of introducing young leadership. Now, let me tell you something else, Pete. I've got here's one young leader that's
Fresh
up and
Fridays
coming.
is starting next week?
Next week, yeah,
All
July
right,
22nd. Y'all come on out here. We put a little price tag on it. It's just $20. Come out here and help support us because we need your support.
I give you an autograph. For you to come out
in the real estate game, we got Daryl and Sanders. Daryl and Sanders is also in that group of individuals that that's actively involved. So, but she has a family. So you got people like that are slowly but surely coming and staying involved in our publication and in the things that we do, and they are becoming part of our
and
community.
They need to step it up. See, my thing is, the militancy piece for me comes in. Hey, look, if you got an old guard in the way, and they know that you're on the right path, but they're too selfish or too stubborn to admit that you do have good ideas and all. You know what? You're just gonna have to go bypass them and educate. Because my thing is, not only are you educating the ones under 45, the ones under 25,
Right.
but you got a lot of older people that needs a refresher education and don't mind you taking the lead to educate me on how we use, because the old people used to say something old, something new, something blue, something barred, something whatever.
Right.
So it takes that combination. And what I'm saying, if I had that grant, it would be specific things.
What made you talk about a grant, Pete?
Well,
is there some money out there we need to know about?
Well, what I'm talking about, that grant would be used, even if I caught the lottery, I would go into a foundation, because I think the way the black community comes back stronger, the way we recapture our kids that are into this young and turn thing,
Right.
but use it in a positive way as far as education, political education, economic development, Wall Street redevelopment, all of that.
I think the young and turnt people are using it in terms of economic development.
Right, but
They're
they need
pushing.
they need to expand further than that. So you can't go outside your community if you don't have a power base within the community.
Well,
that's what I'm seeing.
In our local elections, one of the things that kind of burns me up is when I see politicians that are or local leaders that are beyond 65, 70, jumping in races and using their weight to in my mind, to just kind of mess things up. It's really time for.
It's deliberate.
I don't know.
Some of it is.
Some people need a little extra. I don't know what it is, but we do need to identify and support the young leaders that are out here that have the kind of message that we're looking for as older people. We need to push them out front and support them.
There's nothing wrong with even constructive criticism. Can have a bee sting to it at times.
It can. Carl, are you still on the line?
So constructive.
He's gone.
We can
Okay.
have it can have a bee sting, but at the end of the day, as long as you have not abandoned them as you offer constructive criticism and offer a framework of suggestions that you're encouraging them to mold in something where not only is deep rooted but sustainable, and as you recruit others.
So
Pete,
we're gonna stop talking about the young people because we beat it to death.
All right.
I really want to get this in here. The January 6th commission. Talk to me.
Well,
what do
here's
you
the
think?
thing.
Where are we right now with that commission? Are they
They're doing a good job.
They're doing a good job?
But here's the thing: time is running out, because when the Republicans, and especially the right-wing Republicans, and I call them right-wing extremists, rhinos, they Republican name only, okay? When they take over the House in January, after these November elections, they're going to use their power to beat up on people too. But it will be 15 to 20 years before people really realize the importance of the work of the January 6th committee. When you look at, you take out CNN and some of the other, including Fox and all, when you look at, even if the economy was, and the economy in one way is really good. All right, we got a call. But when you take all that out, it'd be caller, come in, what say you? Are you there?
Good morning, Pete. Good morning, DJ CEO.
Good morning. Who we got? Who's on the line?
This is Joe from Tampa. I just wanted to mention what you just said. I think a lot of younger, when we see nothing wrong with the people over 60 years old, but their messages don't reach even the 20-year-olds. So when we talk about grant money, I think that the skills center that's putting that building up on 22nd Street, hopefully that reaches out. That I believe, to me, that'll reach the masses more than the churches do.
Joe, good point.
So much knowledge coming out that center as far as coding, every little thing they're gonna have in there. So I just think that's a great thing for the community, especially being in East Tampa.
I'm so glad you brought up the skills center. Yes. Celeste Roberts and her husband Ken, they have been really focused on developing the abilities of our children through sports. And the skills center made a major acquisition with that building on 22nd Street. Go ahead, Joe.
And then my last comment. I would love for one of them to run for office, but because I think they have a broader reach. But you know what? Right now, I think they're saving kids.
Look, they saving kids. Look.
Well, he's right about that, Darryl. You take.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Joe.
It
Thanks for calling.
See, I tell people, we're all blessed by God with a certain additional talent.
Right.
So whether people say thank you, kiss my butt, or whatever, they don't. Or even if they harm you after you save them more than one time in that situation, you're placed here to serve your family and your community, especially as a black male.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait till the skills center open up, because my expertise is working with those who think nobody even want to listen to them. I just have that blessed talent.
Okay.
Wasn't looking for it,
right?
But it was dropped in my lap by my great-grandmother on today. And I can't even remember some of the kids I worked with through the Eagles. Bobby Wiles had me one day say, I want you to announce one game for us, too. The announcer said, I went on a 10-year run. What?
Yeah.
But you serve where you're supposed to serve. So I can see myself at the skills center that when a parent, especially comes in from an impoverished neighborhood, one of the first things they're going to look at is a true smile that can convince them that, hey, a place like the skills center is for your kid too. You know why? The kid may be academically strong,
right,
but he may not be socially group strong.
Adept.
You feel
right?
Me?
I do
Okay,
feel you.
so
I do
that's
feel you.
if I can sit there and say, "Oh man, look at him."
Here's what I've noticed about Tampa, the city of Tampa. The city of Tampa loves their own, and as an outsider, it's hard to come in here and get political strength and political will, and even from a business standpoint. But Ken and Celeste have done quite well in shaking and baking and making the right moves.
And you got to move on.
Yeah.
If you have, I never forget, and before we go off there, I guess we got another commercial break. When I was asked to apply for the Children's Board,
okay,
I asked 8 black so-called leaders, 8.
To what?
Give me a reference or whatever the case may be. You know how many I got out of the 8?
How many?
1. I had one tell me straight up.
Were the 8 that you asked all Democrats? Or what?
No. Actually, it was a couple of Republicans too. That's a good way to put that. But I had an influential leader,
okay,
with a connection in my historic church, St. Paul, tell me that I hang out on Main Street too much in front of the Zanzibar and the Barbecue King. Well, hell, I'm a product of West Tampa.
Absolutely.
I'm a project boy. Why should I?
That's where all the news is, right there.
Why should I disappear from them when they helped make me who I am today? Are you crazy?
No.
But after I got the appointment,
okay,
then they said, the same people that wouldn't even give me a letter, they had connections and all, they said, I need your help.
Now I need your help.
So you know what I had to do? I had to screen through all of that. So then I wind up supporting people like the Skills Center, Reach Up.
Okay.
The young lady.
Those are all the right foundations to
Start,
support.
Positive Spin.
Right.
The Hispanic Services Council. You
right.
follow me now?
I do.
Because they understood it. And even when we had young people come with a group trying to get some funding, I discovered that they had not done it completely right, that if a taxpayer came in and actually looked at their organization, it would have been some red flag.
Right.
So you know what? I didn't kick him in public. I went through everything with them. The board of directors, they say, hey, this is not the right time for y'all, and here is why. and then they came back and did it the right way.
Good.
But I had opposition within our community because, well, I hate to say it, they
Pete,
said, well, you're not in a frat, all that kind of stuff.
Pete, you're tooting your own horn right now, buddy.
No, but I'm saying,
and
the
it's
people-
okay.
The people help me.
I got to
in a
toot the horn.
position.
I got to
Yeah,
toot. I got
are
to
we
toot.
going to
Look,
that?
on the front page is Keith Sweat, y'all. I need you to come out and see Keith Sweat. Buy your ticket because they're almost gone. Keith Sweat's going to have Tevin Campbell with him. He's going to have Monica, Tamar Braxton, 112, Genuine Silk. And here's a good thing, is that the guy sitting behind the board, Bezel has worked with almost all of these individuals with his production company.
I can't wait till Tamara Braxton.
Did you know
she
that?
puts a good show on.
Bezel, can you tell us something about one of these guys you've worked with? Just one of them. It's just pick Silk maybe.
Well, just
Yeah,
one.
yeah, just one.
And that-
Yeah, just briefly.
And save me a ticket.
Mic check.
Red.
What's going on, everybody? How you doing? So I've worked with Silk, my man, Lil G from Silk. He's I don't know if you can see it in the script either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a real cool guy. I worked with 112, Genuine. Trying to work with Genuine and his people and stuff like that. So, they're all really good guys.
Good.
All-
You think it's going to be a great show?
It's gonna be an awesome show. I seen 112 perform. I seen
do a good
Genuine
job.
perform. I seen Silk perform. Monica perform. I met her one time on the passing. I haven't seen Keith Sweat or
Just
Tamara.
briefly tell us about what you do in terms of production.
As far as production, I produce, make music, even rap. You know, I've
And these guys are still reaching out to you today to do tracks for them. Is that correct?
some of them,
And
yes.
he's a young guy. That's what I'm talking about, Bill. Look, it's people like yourself that got these tentacles there that we need to say to our under 25 folks, look, we're going to be young and turn with you in thinking as a new way of rebuilding our community. That's what I'm talking about.
So Pete, when we come back from break,
Okay.
um,
And don't forget
we-
my man Tevin Campbell. Now, he going to give Keith Sweat a run for his money.
you think he is? I don't
No
know. I don't
question.
know. I don't know. Tevin ain't got about 2 songs
Well,
out
but
there.
Keith is my age, so it's
he
Nah,
still got it
he
going
still
on.
got it.
So when we come back, we're
Right.
going to wrap it up. I did want to get back to the January 6th commission.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
let's circle back.
All right.
We'll be right back.
And not only that,
Well, get ready to experience a night of R&B hits after hits. It's the R&B Music Experience, Keith Sweat Birthday Weekend Celebration, Saturday, July 23rd at the Amalie Arena, Tampa, Florida, with Keith Sweat. Keith Sweat. It's gonna be an epic music experience with Monica, Tevin Campbell, Tamar Braxton, Genuine, 112, and Silk. It's the R&B Music Experience Keith Sweat Birthday Weekend Celebration, Saturday, July 23rd at Amalie Arena, Tampa, Florida, with Keith Sweat, Monica, Tevin Campbell, Tamar Braxton, Genuine, 112, and Silk. Tickets on sale at Ticketmaster.com, another global events production.
It's the last stop on the Love Track Tour with the mighty OJs. Friday, August 26th in the Straz Center with Gerald Austin and the Manhattans, plus Shirley Murdoch. For tickets, go online to StrazCenter.org.
Call Ricky. Ask Ricky. You need medical or a lawyer? I got the man to do the legwork for you. We tried the other ones before, so believe we hunted down 813-248-6300. Everything gon' be okay. Call Ricky, he coming. He taking care of state of Florida. Grab a pen or sundown. 184-361-RICK. That's 184-361-425. Never word from the point forward, just recline. Just ask Ricky, plus your boy statewide. Just in case you missed it, I'ma tell you one more time. 184-361-RICK. Call Ricky, ask Ricky is a legal medical referral service. The doctors and lawyers in our network are trained in handling auto injury claims and giving you the best medical treatment and recovery. Dial 1-844-361-RICK. That's 1-844-361-7425. Ricky. Ask Ricky.
All right. We're back here on the home stretch, my man. DJ is with us, and Barrett. Now, last week we had to stay home because the AKAs was over my hammer. So he played hooker this week now.
I know. I know. I don't. We just got to do something about Attorney
like
Paris.
Yeah,
we just. Thank you. Come on, Clint. Where are you?
And that's your frat brother. You know what I'm saying? I'm a non-fight.
Oh,
but I done caught on the Clint.
Okay,
Right.
so before we went to break, we briefly talked about the January 6th commission.
Yeah.
But while we were at break, we brought something up about what the committee is doing in terms of help me, Pete.
You mean with the Secret Service?
Yeah, that was it.
All right, here's what happened, folks. They found out through the Inspector General's office that the Secret Service, all of a sudden, they claim they every so often they re-erase the tapes or something foolish like that. But they didn't even give the Department of Homeland Security Inspector General. They told him that they had no recordings from January 5th and January 6th, which is particularly important because the lady testified hearsay to an extent that one of the secret agents told her Trump grabbed the steering wheel and all. So all that information that goes on within internally the Secret Service has disappeared.
Well, here's what you got to think about, Pete, in terms of with the Secret Service. The Secret Service's job, they got two jobs. One is because they're under the Department of Treasury. So one of the things they handle is they handle Treasury issues, and they also handle the protection of the president. So that the reason those tapes, and I'm not excusing this, but the reason those tapes came up missing is because the Secret Service wants the president to know and to realize we always got your back no matter what. Now, I don't know how right or wrong that is. Well, yes, I do know how wrong that is. But the message that they're sending to not just this president, but all presidents coming in the future and those that were in the past, the Secret Service are trying to hold on because it's about the economy, stupid. They're trying to hold on to their jobs too.
Yeah.
Because they know that a guy like, if we get another guy in there like the past president, he could just cut him out and have his own Secret Service. So everybody is trying to protect their position in whatever way they can. Now, was it wrong? Heck yeah. You know they got rid of that. You know they destroyed those tapes because not only would it implicate the president, but it'll probably implicate some of them too.
Can you imagine it? And see, that's the thing. When you look at some of the Secret Service issues, like when they went down to Argentina somewhere, they had the hookers and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Then they just sent a guy home from Israel that was with the Biden detail for getting in some unknown.
Stupid. Just stupid.
So in the past, you've had a rogue Secret Service agent every now and then wanted to write a book and all. What people don't realize that people in those positions, legally, they cannot write a book without it being screened.
True.
But and the other thing you hit on is people don't realize that the Secret Service they deal with the Treasury. So
Yeah.
They always think it's the
That's their job.
particular-
They deal with counterfeit. They deal with counterfeit money. So they come across a lot of things that we don't see them
so
doing.
that's why I said in the beginning of the show that it'll be at least 15 years from now till we know the real facts of a whole lot
Well,
of stuff with this.
30 years ago I said you were right, but not in today's time. It won't be 15 years. It'll be 2 years
Well,
because
people
the way
trying to make money too.
at the way the speed of communications now is so fast, and it's the other thing with the young group. The young group, where we would push a show 2 months out. Now they don't. 2 weeks they promoting shows. Boom, 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 and they done.
Yeah, they done.
So that's kind of how fast things have changed
they don't
for
even,
us.
They also have a different way of trust but verify. You know what I mean? They'll
What do you
make
mean?
stuff. Well, for an example, they'll say, okay, let's see what's going on right now. But because they have so many tentacles and communication with each other and all, they'll learn the truth in a hurry. Or if they think it's something in the water that ain't right, they'll push that out at the same time to force the real truth out, and then they move on.
Okay.
You know?
So are you saying that the disinformation has a way of pushing the truth out?
I believe it does.
Really?
Particularly among young people.
I think disinformation
because they're
has
having
got them truly confused, quite frankly.
But see, what I like about young people now is that they're learning, like we had to learn in a segregated school system when they gave us hand-down books.
Yeah.
And half the pages tore out.
I can remember that quite well.
You feel the storylines in.
Yeah.
And so what they're doing is they're teaching themselves more. All I want them to do is turn it into where they can lay a new foundation with extra rebars as they take over where we are now. And that's why I don't mind helping them. And it's always going to be some scrutiny.
Pete, what you going to say when the Democratic Party just blows over the Republicans in 2022?
It won't even happen in 2026. It's over. See, the Democratic Party is split between itself. So
What's the split?
Well, it's been fake all the time. In the Democratic Party, you have
other than Joe Manchin and Christian Sinema.
No, in the Democratic Party, within the black community, there's a division. Most of the Democratic Party now value is that they dependent upon the older elite blacks that consistently vote. They finding out that they can't even depend on old-line black churches anymore to carry the weight for them. You know why? Because old-line black churches, and rightfully so in some cases,
have conservative values?
Well, no, they're diminishing themselves because they want you to send everything up and they're not giving that back to the community. And we need to talk about that show one time, because when you look at the baseline, old-line black church schools, progressive, AME Church, all of them, what have they themselves, if they came together, they can make a dent in affordable housing, but they won't do that. It's all about social status, and I remind people there's a distinct difference between spirituality and religion. Religion is a business now, because in some of these organizations,
religion has always been a business.
Well, but I mean, it's more open now, because you know what? They require, they require pastors not only to go to divinity school, but to actually come out and major in business administration.
But they should.
Well, that's the business side.
Well,
you don't need. And what happens to the concept? What that interferes with the come as you are concept.
So
I'm just saying.
So I don't really like the come as you are concept, quite frankly.
Well,
and let me tell you why. And then we're gonna move on to something else. Come as you are. It was okay. I guess we're not. But come as you are. It started to bring people into the church that generally look like they just woke up out of the bed and they came to church. They ain't brushed their teeth, they ain't combed their hair, they ain't put on their Sunday best. And the Sunday best aspect of going to church was a thing that taught young people how to dress, how to hold their composure. You know, when you had to put on a dress and a suit and tie as a child, that gave you something to look forward to. So Sunday best was good and is good. It should continue in our families. But come as you are is a thing that keeps us from being grounded with religion. And every family needs some aspect of religion as a foundation for their family base.
Talking about come as you are as we get ready to close. Young people now, they take the term come as you are to mean that you can come to a funeral dressed any kind of way, and you can also smoke a blunt before you come.
Smelling like weed. Okay. You know, see when at funerals you put on a shirt and tie when you went to a funeral. So those are the kinds of traditions that have slowly been chipped away at, through religion, and I just think it's been a bad thing. So listen, how much time we got, producer? We got 1 minute.
All right,
Pete, wrap it up.
Talk about don't forget next Friday night.
Here it is, y'all. Y'all got to come to Fresh Friday. Last year we did 7 Fresh Fridays right here at 5508 North 50th Street, right here in the outdoor venue. So come out, join us. Go to intouchnews.com. Click on the what do we call that thing? That QR code. $20 to get in. We have Andre Jackson's band. He's releasing a big CD. So just come out and have a good time.
Fresh Fridays, because they'll get a fresh take on my freshness that I have on the radio. I just be walking them here with. I throw that in.
Y'all come on out and
y'all
join
come
us
there,
next
right?
week.
Y'all come.
And we'll be back the next day on Straight Up the
and
Middle.
Tell me I cleaned it up, darling.
Yeah. Thank you, Pete.
I know you
Y'all got to go home.
All right, everybody. Be peace. Get ready for school. Get ready for school.
Get ready.
All right.
I wanna please you. I wanna please you.